6-7 is definitely looked at as South London's most brutal, infamous gang, and it just so happened that they probably got the most lit rappers as well that just put the little on top, you feel me? But look, let's hop straight into it. But sub to the channel. Make sure you hit that like button so the channel can keep growing. Boy can keep grinding. Let's get into it.
Note, all of the opinions used within this video are mine alone. Everything in this video has been taken from publicly available sources, and any footage or video used falls under the doctrine of fair use. I have made every effort to ensure all of the sources used within this video are accurate. However, I am not responsible for content that third parties publish. Without further ado, sit back and enjoy today's video. Now, as of a 2021 census, the London borough of Lambeth was recorded to be home to around 316,000 people. The borough was actually ranked among the top 10 most dangerous London boroughs, which is crazy. As of a 2023 report, the crime rate in Lambeth was recorded at just over 130 crimes per 1,000 people. This then coming in 27% higher than London's rate of 103 crimes per 1,000 people. The borough of Lambeth is located in South London and is among the boroughs that form Inner London. What a lot of the people currently living in and around the borough of Lambeth are unaware of, however, is that a large street gang based around Brixton Hill has been terrorizing the streets of Lambeth for years, having multiple rivalries with other street gangs in the area, with these rivalries getting quite deadly, as you will see throughout this video, as well as the gang's rise to prominence in the UK drill scene, with young rappers from the crew releasing UK drill anthems, in which they can be heard disrespecting both their dead and alive rivals. This street gang being none other than 674 or 67 from Brixton Hill. As a quick
That's what I said. It seemed bro, it sound crazy, but it just seemed like the more people, the more 6-7 members that catch bodies and go to jail, the more that just come up right back from up under them. Like, and the more rappers that go to jail, the more rappers that just come out soon as you feel what I'm saying? Like, they deep, bro. Facts.
Disclaimer before this video starts. If you take anything from this video, make sure that it is to stay out of the gang life, as well as far away from the roads, as this road and gang life you see these rappers living often only leads to two outcomes, these being jail and death, and rarely anything positive, as what the rappers involved don't tell you is they have lost most of the people around them to either the roads and gang life or jail. Also, all information used within this video is obtained through public sources and is alleged. I will not be speculating on any cases that are yet to be 100% finished, but without further ado, sit back and enjoy this video.
And despite the efforts of the emergency services, two men, both in their 20s, sadly died at the scene.
Oh my god! Oh my god, he's shooting!
How old were you guys when you first started getting really involved in street shit?
Knee high. Yeah.
I didn't even know DJ Vlad was interviewing UK niggas. Like, when did that? Well, maybe I missed that.
Now, 6-7 or 674 is a street gang based in and around the area of Brixton Hill, SW2 and SW4, more specifically around New Park Road, Tilson Gardens Estate and the Rupel Park Estate. The 674 name has been in use since the 2010s, but before this, the gang was known as OSG, or On-Site Gang, and BHB, or Brixton Hill Bullies, or Blood.
On-Site Gang is hard. That's how hard. I ain't even gonna cap to you.
In fact, when OSG is typed out onto a trap phone keypad, the numbers 674 are visible, this possibly being where the 674 name derives from. Other sets in Brixton Hill during the late
hood niggas is really creative as fuck for real.
2000s and early 2010s included NPG, or New Park Gunners, and the Marga Lane Gang, who actually made music. It's also known that around 2020, a smaller set known as RP, or Rupel Park, which was based, as I'm sure you can guess, around Rupel Park, would absorb into 674 or 67, with the members of that crew repping 67. Another name that 67 go by nowadays is SAD, or Search and Destroy, Spot and Drop. Amongst other names, the 67 gang is affiliated with nearby LTH from Lower Tulse Hill, as well as 55 or GID from Streatham. The gang is also a part of a larger alliance known as Hillside, which I have actually made a video on. 6-7 have a rivalry with 150, 410, Up Top, and also 17 Wano from Wandsworth Road. Prominent members of 6-7 include LD, Dimsy, Monkey, Dopesmoke, PR Sad, Brucker, and R6. All of these members, in fact,
every last one of them niggas hard as hell. No diddy. Factuals.
UK drill scene, which I will discuss within this video. Now, you may be confused as to how this 6-7 crew began to terrorize the streets of Lambeth and South London, with their rivalry with other local crews getting so deadly in fact, that stabbings, shootings, and murders almost became common in the area. Now, around the late 2000s, the 6-7 crew was better known as BHB, which stood for Brixton Hill Bloods, as well as Brixton Hill Bullies, with this BHB gang even being affiliated with Gas Gang, which is crazy as the most prominent crew to come out of Gas Gang was known as 150. And as you will learn later on in this video, 6-7 and 150 would come to have a bloody and deadly gang feud with one another. In 2007,
I reacted to that video. If you haven't seen it, I put it at the end of this vid.
However, the rivalry between BHB and another gang from Somerleyton, known as MZ, would begin to get deadly, MZ being the predecessor gang to the modern Sirac crew. On the 3rd of August 2007, a member of BHB from Brixton Hill, known as Junes, would get robbed by MZ gang members from Somerleyton. His chain was taken by the members, who then fled after the robbery. Junes decided after he was robbed to spin back and retaliate. A few hours later, Junes armed himself with a gun and drove around Brixton looking for BHB gang members. After a few minutes of looking, Junes noticed an alleged BHB member known as Bowser, who was sitting with a few friends on a wall. Junes let off shots toward Bowser, who was hit 6 times, with one of the bullets even hitting his heart. Junes then fled after the shooting, with Bowser sadly being pronounced dead shortly after the attack. Police arrived on the scene and launched a murder investigation. 17-year-old Junes was quickly arrested in connection to the shooting and was charged with the murder of Bowser, later in 2008.
Dang, so that's what I'm saying. I'll say this every time I watch videos like this, bro. It's crazy as hell that niggas is really signing up for the bootings whenever it seemed like maybe some of them get away, but it seemed like over the UK, niggas be getting grabbed the same day, bro. Facts. I don't know what type of system they got over there, or they got dumb CCTV cameras everywhere. But bro, it'd be like the same day, like it'd be like shortly after. Like
Junes was quickly arrested in connection to the shooting and was charged with the murder of Bowser, later in 2008. After a full trial, 17-year-old Junes was found guilty and was sentenced to life in prison with a minimum of 21 years. Rest in peace, Bowser. It's known that the death of Bowser caused tension between the gangs in Brixton, although it wasn't the breaking point, which occurred years later, when a TN1 member known as Lil Zach was killed by Gas gang members, TN1 being a gang
for four teenagers jailed for life for one op.
Hill that was closely allied with BHB, although I'll explain this incident later. Now, around this time, BHB was actually active in the music scene, often releasing freestyles. In 2008, Dimsy from 6-7, who was repping BHB at this time, can be seen freestyling on his estate in an old video that was recovered and uploaded in 2017, although it's believed that the video was in fact shot in 2008. BHB also had a track with Gas Gang, which has since been re-uploaded. This is crazy, as not long after this, BHB and Gas began to rival one another, carrying on into the 2010s, where 6-7 and 150 would rival each other, this occurring after the death of a loved TN1 member from Tulse Hill. On the 2nd of July 2010, a 15-year-old member of the TN1 gang from Tulse Hill, known as Lil Zach or Zach Olamegbon, would enter school, where upon entering, it was compulsory for all students to hand in their phones. On this day, however, Lil Zach refused to hand his phone in. Whilst arguing with a teacher about the matter, Lil Zach noticed a car full of Gas gang members outside. Zach then told the teacher, "That's them, that's them." The Gas gang members then exited their vehicle and walked toward another student, stabbing him in the arm. By this point, Lil Zach began to flee. With the Gas members noticing this, Lil Zach was then chased around 400 feet by the armed gang, who eventually
at the school, yeah, I remember that.
Actually caught up to him and stabbed him multiple times before fleeing seconds after the attack. Police and paramedics rushed to the scene and attempted to save Lil Zach's life. However, despite their best attempts, he was sadly pronounced dead around 90 minutes after the attack. A murder investigation was launched following this, and a day later on the 3rd of July 2010, Gas gang members Clicks, Mad H, J-Kid, and Maggie were arrested. All 4 were charged with Zach's murder, and later in 2011, the 4 were found guilty, being given sentences of 18 years, 16 years, another 16 years, and 14 years, with the news of Zach's death gaining a massive amount of attention.
I mean, them is a lot of years, you know what I'm saying? Them is a lot of years, like 14, 16, 16, your type shit. That's a lot of years, but to be honest, that's a blessing to be even getting out, bro, over here. If you get found guilty, all 4 of y'all getting the yum sand for real. The Boski.
attention in nearby communities due to how shocking it was. Rest in peace. Now, it's believed that the death of Lil Zach resulted in Brixton splitting. Some members of TN1 wanted to get back for their friend Lil Zach, whilst others sided with Gas Gang. This meant that surrounding gangs had to pick which gangs to side with in the beef, resulting in 6-7 or BHB, ABM from Stockwell, and 5.
Imagine your gang getting outnumbered to the point that you gotta link up with somebody, or you ain't gonna be out there long.
5, or GID from Streatham siding with TN1 from Tulse Hill, whilst a gang from Upper Tulse Hill sided with Gas Gang. This, of course, led to the modern-day beef between 6-7 and UTH from Upper Tulse Hill, as well as with 150 and 410 from Brixton, as Gas Gang later became known as 150, or GBG, which stood for Get Back Gang. Now, in 2012, another gang from Brixton Hill known as Marga Lane began to get active in the underground UK road rap scene. In April 2012, a freestyle featuring members of this gang was uploaded onto YouTube. Just a few months following this upload, another freestyle was released, this being titled Brixton Hill Freestyle. Now, these freestyles didn't gain much attention, although they did lay out the foundations for other 6-7 rappers to start making music, which they did. Following the releases of these freestyles, however, the 6-7 name became the name that the gang used, as well as OSG, which stood for On-Site Gang. For simplicity's sake, however, I will refer to them as 6-7. It's believed that in 2013, 6-7 member PR Sad, who will become a lot more
PR Sad is hard as hell, bro. I remember my first time here. I say that about everybody in 6-7 down there, but bro, he went I forgot. I gotta look up this song, bro. He went crazy. I was like, yo.
Prominent as the video goes on, was actually repping 150. However, later in 2015, he would switch gangs, becoming aligned with their rivals, 6-7. Now, at the end of 2013, the first instances of both 6-7 and 150 sending shots to each other in music would occur. In December 2013, 150 rappers Styx and M Darg released a track titled It's Cracking. Within this song, Styx rapped, I f with O'Trey so broad day. It's cracking. O'Trey being a reference to the 031 gang, whilst Broad Day was the name that ABM from Stockwell went under at the time. Throughout this song, Styx and M Darg would send multiple shots towards 6-7's most prominent rapper at the time, Scribs, who later became LD. Anyways, later in February 2014, 6-7 members Dimsy, Scribs, and Monkey directly responded in a track titled It's Frying, in which they used the same beat and flow to disrespect 150. Dimsy responded to the Broad Day line, in which he rapped, I'm OJ so fuck O'Trey, bitch be frying. LD then stated in his verse that he does not fuck with Ciroc, previously known as MZ, and that 6-7 runs Brixton, as well as stating his ops walk around with knives, whilst he is armed with guns. Both of these tracks gained millions of views, and shone a spotlight on both groups, who during the 2010s gained a massive amount of attention, establishing the UK drill sound. Despite this success, however, in 2014, 6-7's leading rapper Scribs would be handed an ASBO, or an anti-social behavior order. This ASBO prevented him from performing his music in public under the Scribs name. To combat this, Scribs changed his name to LD and
oh yeah, I was about to say, so that's why he changed his name. Hey yo, how can't I perform my shit in public? Like the UK got some laws over
began to wear a unique mask, which he has even continued to wear 10 years later. In the same year of his ASBO being issued, LD released the track Live Corn, which has since garnered around 7.6 million views. Within this track, he openly stated that a fellow 6-7 member had a Mac-10 machine gun, comparing the sound of it shooting to a drum, and that if you mess with the 6-7 crew, you can get shot. This song, as well as other 6-7 and 150 tracks, really laid out the foundations for the UK drill genre. Around this time, however, the rivalry between 6-7 and 150 would really kick off, when in February 2014, a member of 150 would be killed by a 6-7 gang member, this being the death of SQ. On the 25th of February 2014, only a few weeks after the back and forth between 150 and 6-7 in diss tracks, a member associated with 150 known as SQ or Squirrel would be driving through the Angeltown estate, home to the 150 gang. Whilst driving, he noticed his friend being chased by a 6-7 member known as Incy. SQ then decided to intervene and help his friend, who was fleeing.
Boys be getting chased down out there. Like, he's a runner, he's a track star. You know what I'm saying? Like, boys be really getting chased down out there.
By this point, after SQ exited his vehicle, 6'7" member Incy turned his attention to SQ, who was then chased down and was stabbed in the heart, with Incy fleeing seconds following the attack. Police and emergency services arrived on the scene seconds later and transported SQ to a hospital, where he sadly died 2 days later, on the 27th of February 2014. Incy was later arrested and charged in connection to the murder, and in December 2014 was found guilty, being given a sentence of 12 years in prison, with it being believed that the death of SQ escalated the beef between 150 and 6'7" further. It's even—
Boy only got 12 years, bro. Them is blessing shots right there. I know niggas that's getting 12 years for the, you know what I'm saying, for the bags. What the hell? For a bar yacht? Bro, what?
known that PR Sad showed love to SQ in 2014 after his death, as around this time PR was aligned with 150. This is crazy, as only months after his death, PR Sad can be seen in a 6'7" music video titled Skengman, in which SQ was disrespected multiple times. Rest in peace, SQ or Squirrel. Now, as 2015 came around, both sides continued to make music. In January 2015, 6'7" released a track titled Skengman. This track was very disrespectful, and as a result, the original music video was removed from YouTube, although re-uploads of the track do still exist. Shortly after the release of this Skengman track, 6'7" member SJ would be stopped by police and was found in possession of a revolver. SJ was then
SJ dumb hard too. Damn, they got the niggas.
Eventually being given 5 years for the incident. It's believed that SJ had taken a minicab from Kennington to Herne Hill, however, redirected the driver somewhere else and promised to pay him extra for the inconvenience. Shortly after this redirection, armed police stopped the vehicle and arrested SJ, leading to his sentencing of 5 years. He was later released in 2018.
That's what I'm saying. I don't understand how you can give him 5 years for a firearm, but a boy caught a body and got 12 years. Where how does those numbers add up?
Where he continued to make music. Now, around this time, 6'7" would really be shining within the UK drill scene, previously releasing tracks that have since gained millions of views. In August 2015, however, 6'7" members, Monkey, LD, Dimsy, and ASAP, released a track titled Take It There. Within this song, Monkey rapped that 6'7's rivals were doing drive-bys, but hitting no one, claiming it was a waste of bullets. LD then followed this up by rapping that he had a skeng, or gun, in a 4-door truck, and him as well as other 6'7 members didn't mind taking it to the op block. Anyways, this Take It There track was released in order to promote 6'7's upcoming album titled In Skengs We Trust. This album then being released a month later, on the 25th of September 2015. This was a 20-track album and featured multiple songs that have since garnered millions of streams. Around this time, 6'7 was basically the biggest thing coming out of the streets, gaining hundreds of new fans every day. So much so, in fact, that popular Peckham rapper Giggs started to watch the crew, eventually hopping on a feature with 6'7 in February 2016, this being titled Let's Lurk. This song did numbers, and currently sits
23 mil, Let's Lurk. Ooh, they probably tripped on there. I ain't never heard that. I gotta peep that.
on 23 million views, which is crazy. During 2016, the 6'7 gang continued to make music, with popular 6'7 member R6 releasing the track Redrum Reverse at the end of 2016, this solidifying him in the scene, as he was supposedly a younger during this time. Also in December 2016, 6'7 appeared on a DJ Vlad interview, in which they spoke on the hood politics in Lambeth, even discussing the blood and crip wave that the borough had been affected by in the prior few years.
And out there, you know, because in America you have Crips, you have Bloods. You go to Chicago, you have GDs, BDs, you have Vice Lords, and so forth. But out here, it's different. You don't have American gangs.
No, they tried to do the Bloods and the Crips before.
They used to.
Oh, really?
Wow, yeah, they tried it still.
A long time ago.
Okay, because you see, you know, I remember.
They've tried it before, but it went wrong. It went wrong.
Explain.
Too much areas tried to be Bloods, and they don't even know each other. Then
They had like a name for themselves and everything.
Yeah, hey, that would be like the most iffy shit. Like if boys just try to adopt a gang, like yeah, we Bloods. Imagine if you and then your ops both decided, like the 150s both decided to be Bloods, like but y'all still beefing. Like y'all can't adopt that. Y'all gotta, you know what I'm saying? But that's why like people in my area. I live in Pittsburgh, bro. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, bro. we don't really got Bloods, and some niggas be faking like a motherfucker. You might find one or two here and there. Maybe somebody moved over this, but there ain't no real Bloods and Crips for real. That crazy where I'm from, like, cause that's we like the UK for real. We on the whole other side of Cali. They started the Bloods and Crips, and other than that, we don't know shit about it.
Brits and no Bloods, blood set.
Okay.
So that's what they call themselves out there. Then, yeah, they used to beef the so-called Crips and that. But that's all fake. It was all fake.
What, so did a Crip set pop up somewhere?
Yeah, there was a Crip set somewhere.
At the same time?
He was Crips set again. Crips, it was ABM, innit?
So did they?
The 6-7 crew would see chart success in the year 2017 after releasing a track titled Glorious 12th, this gaining a good amount of attention and even peaking at number 77 on the official charts. It's also believed that at some point in 2017, LD was caught with a knife and was jailed for being in possession of it. The 6-7 gang continued to release music in 2017 and into 2018, where the beef between 6-7 and their rivals really got deadly, leading to the younger members of 6-7 taking over and really beginning to terrorize the streets of Lambeth, as well as South London. On the 5th of November 2018, LTH member JSav, who was closely affiliated with 6-7 members, would be standing on a road in Lower Tulse Hill, waiting to be picked up by his mum. Whilst waiting outside, a group of rival 150 members would be in a stolen vehicle driving around the estate. The gang noticed 16-year-old JSav waiting for his mum. An alleged member then jumped out of the car, armed with a knife. JSav was then stabbed in the stomach multiple times by the gang members, who then fled after the attack. JSav's mum had actually witnessed the entire attack and
boys really be getting really done up so crazy in front of their mom out there. It's rare, but it do happen out here. Like little dude from Philly, like last week, just got hit in front of his mom, which was wild as hell. But that's another story. But anyway.
quickly rushed to JSav's aid, phoning police and emergency services, who arrived minutes following the stabbing. Sadly, however, 16-year-old JSav was pronounced dead moments after the stabbing, with a murder investigation being launched. Despite an entire investigation, however, no one has ever been arrested in connection to the murder, with it remaining unsolved. Rest in peace, JSav. Now, following the death of JSav, his friend...
That's one of the first times I heard that somebody ain't get grabbed for the body.
Friends from both LTH and 6-7 would begin to retaliate for him, leading to 2019 being one of the deadliest years. So much so that even today, 6-7 rappers can be heard referencing the year within their songs, as it was so bloody and deadly. On the 27th of March 2019, 25-year-old Romain Wigan, or Reckless, from the UTH gang, would be lured to an apartment in West Norwood by gang members believed to be affiliated with either the 6-7 crew or their allies. After entering the apartment, however, he was held at gunpoint before the attacker then shot him from behind and fled the scene seconds after the shooting. Police and emergency services were called at around 4:10 in the afternoon to reports of a gunshot. After arriving at the scene, 25-year-old Romain Wigan, or Reckless, was discovered suffering a gunshot wound. Sadly, however, around 30 minutes after arriving, Reckless was pronounced dead on the scene at 4:45 p.m. An investigation has since been launched. A man was later arrested in connection to the murder and was sentenced to life with a minimum of 34 years. It's rumored, however, that this man wasn't the killer of Reckless, but was present. Rest in peace, Reckless. Just 2 days after this shocking shooting, on the 29th of March 2019, CT gang members from Clapham would be looking for 6-7 members in Clapham. The CT members noticed a member of 6-7 known as Leaks, who was sitting in a car with his brother Gavin Garraway, who was believed to not be involved with the local gangs. The CT gang members then chased Leaks as well as his brother Gavin Garraway in a car. Leaks and his brother were driving in a VW Golf, which crashed during the chase. A CT member then hopped out of a vehicle and drew a machete from his waistband. He then approached an opened window of the car.
Bro, how you crash like no whip skills, bro? You just tried to do basically a Yui from sitting there, bro. You should have backed up, then hit the Yui. Hit them niggas if you had to before I hit a pole.
Driven by Leaks and his brother. The CT member then lunged multiple times through the open window. Sadly, Gavin Garraway was stabbed multiple times in this attack, with the attackers fleeing seconds after the attack. Gavin Garraway was sadly pronounced dead moments after the
It's always the one that ain't have shit to do with the streets, though.
the attack, with another murder investigation being launched. Following a trial, a CT member from Clapham would be arrested and charged in connection to the murder, eventually being found guilty. Rest in peace, Gavin Garraway. Just under 2 months following the murder of both Reckless and Gavin Garraway, in June 2019, a CT member known as Stomps, or Shayon Evans, who was also affiliated with 37, would be walking down Deeside Road in Wandsworth when he was noticed by a 6'7" member known as Giant, or Fernando Pope. After the pair noticed one another, a fight broke out. During the altercation, Giant retrieved a large knife and began
6'7" was really beefing with everybody. This is like the fourth gang they done caught slipping.
And to repeatedly stab Stomps with it, before fleeing moments after the altercation. Police and emergency services rushed to save Stomps. However, sadly, he was pronounced dead moments after the attack, with yet another murder investigation being launched. Police began to investigate the crime, and in the days after his death, they went through multiple hours of CCTV from nearby estates. Eventually, 6 days after the attack, on the 20th of June 2019, 21-year-old Fernando Pope, or Giant, was arrested in connection to the murder. Following a full trial, Giant was found guilty, and in 2020 was handed life in prison with a minimum of 25 years. Rest in peace, Shayon Evans, or Stomps. A few weeks following this, on the 15th of August 2019, Dopesmoke's younger brother, Double S, would be looking for rivals from the Clapham gang. He noticed an 18-year-old member of the CT gang, known as S1, who was walking with a girl, believed to be the girlfriend of another CT member known as Nutty. Anyways, S1 would actually walk toward Double S, and would fist bump him. With Double S asking which area S1 was from, it's rumored S1 denied any involvement with the gangs, and carried on walking. A few minutes later, S1 noticed he was being followed by Double S, the girl present then called Nutty, and this was when a confrontation between both Double S and S1 would occur. S1 was stabbed in the neck and chest by Double S, who fled seconds after the attack. Police and paramedics arrived on the scene moments later. An investigation was launched, and Double S was arrested days later and would be charged with the murder of S1. Eventually, in the end, Double S would be given 14 years for the murder. Rest in peace, S1.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, how you only get 14 for that? Other dude get 35. One dude got 12. Other dude got 25. Like, I don't understand the numbers. Like, is it situational? Is it the weapon that was used? Like, how is these numbers determined? There ain't no mandatory minimums.
Now, Double S was actually the younger brother of Dopesmoke, or Dopey, who has since become a popular rapper from 6'7". This meant that Dopesmoke had been heavily impacted by the arrest of his younger brother, who had now been given life for a murder. Despite this, however, just a few months later, Dopesmoke himself would also be fighting a murder charge. On the 10th of September 2019, just under a month following the death of S1, VD from 6'7", as well as 2 others, would get into a fight with a 17-year-old Yusuf Becker outside of a KFC in central London. The fight quickly got heated and knives were drawn. Yusuf, or Lil D, was stabbed around 3 times all over the body, with the attackers fleeing seconds later. Paramedics quickly rushed to the scene and attempted to save Yusuf. However, despite the best attempts of medical professionals, he was pronounced dead moments later, with yet another murder investigation being launched. Now, it would actually take quite a while for police to arrest the attackers, with VD even allegedly going on the run for a few days, releasing a track titled Local Shops with Dopesmoke. In VD's verse on this track, he rapped that him as well as 6'7" members don't leave evidence. That's why they were not behind bars. As well as Dopesmoke rapping that they do in fact go to the op block, as one of their ops was killed. This brazen self-snitching led to the arrests of both.
You stupid ass niggas, bro. And I love Dopesmoke, bro. Dopesmoke, one of my favorite drill rappers from the UK all time. What's wrong with bro?
Both VD and Dopesmoke. Following a full trial, however, Dopesmoke was acquitted of the charges and was released, whilst VD was found guilty and was sentenced to life with a minimum of
How did that happen?
19 years. Rest in peace, Yusuf Becker. Dopesmoke later rapped about this incident in a track titled Deeper Than Drill, which he actually previewed on Snapchat. Now, in December 2019, LD as well as ASAP, who were 6'7's most popular rappers, would be arrested in connection to a large county lines operation that saw them running drugs from London into Berkshire and Hampshire. ASAP was jailed for 4.5 years, whilst LD was also given a 4.5-year sentence. Both members were also banned from having unregistered SIM cards cards for 8 years. As a result of this, loads of new rappers from 6-7 began to release music. In June 2020, 6-7 rapper PR Sad released his debut track 3 out of 9. Within this song, PR mentioned that in 2019, 3 of his ops had been stabbed and 1 had been shot. Dopesmoke then released his debut track Threat to Life on the 31st of October 2020. Dopesmoke opened this track stating that police had named him a threat to life, and he thought they were right because someone lost their life. Dopesmoke then followed this release up in December 2020 with a track titled Hazard in Public, featuring fellow 6-7 rapper Silent. At the start of 2021, PR Sad released a plugged-in freestyle in which he disrespected Reckless, who sadly died 2 years earlier. This plugged-in was seriously disrespectful, so it wasn't a surprise when it was quickly removed from YouTube. 6-7 weren't done there, and just under a month later, in February 2021, 6-7 rappers Dimzy, Monkey, AK, SJ, Silent, and Dopesmoke released a track titled Danger Hill. This was a serious link-up and gained loads of attention, currently sitting on just under 5 million streams. In June 2021, however, an alleged member of 5-5 or GID would fall victim to the streets, this being AD, who was allegedly set up by a girl. The details regarding AD's death are quite unknown, so I won't really speculate on it. However, what is known is that gang members from Croydon would be disrespecting him heavily, and due to him being close with 6-7, this meant that 6-7 and STK from Croydon would be rivaling one another. Rest in peace, AD. Just a few months following this, in October 2021, 6-7 released another album titled Hillside. This featured multiple tracks from Dopesmoke as well as other 6-7 rappers like Silent, R6, and PR Sad, who by this point had actually built a fan base. Despite the musical success 6-7 was seeing, their rivalry with other gangs was getting very deadly, and on the 31st of October 2022, sadly, another person would fall victim to the rivalries in and around Lambeth. On the 31st of October 2022, alleged members from the rival 6-7 gang would pull up on Railton Road within Brixton. The members saw Perm, who was allegedly aligned with CT from Clapham, in a car, and would begin to let off shots. Perm would then use the vehicle and would attempt to escape driving for a few moments. Perm would sadly collide with an innocent Deliveroo driver whilst trying to evade his attackers. This Deliveroo driver would die on the scene. The attackers would end up shooting Perm multiple more times, with Perm being killed on the scene. Since the death of Perm and the innocent Deliveroo driver, no one has been arrested or charged for the double murder, with Crime Stoppers even putting out a £20,000 reward to anyone with information. Brucker from 6-7 was originally arrested for the double murder. However, he would go on to be released days later, with the murder remaining unsolved. Rest in peace, both Perm and Guilherme Macias da Silva. Now, going into 2023, the rivalry between Croydon's STK group and 6-7 would get heated, this following the leak of a track titled Lambeth Utes. Within this song, the STK rappers said that they, quote, turned off one, then we got a couple, now we got a few, as well as stating they now had a war with the Lambeth Utes, referring to 6-7. Not long after this, Brucker, who I briefly mentioned earlier, would be released from prison. Upon his release, he quickly began to release music, dropping the track Permacrisis, which was a self-snitching anthem in itself. He then followed this up with a feature on a track with DT from Lower Tulse Hill, titled Never Made It Far. Brucker then ended 2023 with a song titled No Heart, featuring Dopesmoke. As of recently, however, Brucker has actually been responding to the disrespectful lyrics STK members have been heard rapping. In his Hatch freestyle, released on the 19th of December 2024, Brucker raps, I say it from the bottom of my heart. They didn't kill A. I don't beef STK. I heard that my Lambeth ops linked up with them, but they still got nothing to say. As well as in his recent Rumble Reload freestyle, in which Brucker raps, scream STK, but they STD. They don't stab to kill. They're new to beef. As well as stating there were 5 guys against AD, and AD managed to stab 2 of them before he was killed. Rest in peace, AD. Now this brings me to the end of today's video. If you have learned anything from this video, make sure that it's to stay out of the streets, or as far away from them as possible.
Man, what I learned from that video is 6-7 is wild as fuck. I ain't even gonna lie to you, 6-7 is wild. I don't know, G. Let me know, is there any other gang that's even relatively close, like even sniffing this in the same vicinity as them as far as bootings go? Like, bro, there's just it's unreal amount of killings and people in jail behind these beefs that 6-7 is head of. Bro, like, I know they probably lost people too, but at the end of the day, they deep, bro. That's all I can say. Let me know what y'all think about that in the comments. Make sure you sub to the channel. Make sure you like this video. I'm going to catch you on the next one.